You're listening to the RFBL Report with your hosts, Bear and Pat Dowski.
I only realised when I was up in Wolverhampton, the New Forest owner is an absolute cuck.
Truly, the rich get richer.
Juice, because I only drink juice.
We got some typical Peking bullshit.
Here comes 5th place New Forest.
He's cagey, he gets on base, he's a consummate pro.
Warning, things are about to get weird.
So, like, this is really unrelated, so I don't know if you're recording or not, but you can include this in the intro. I don't mind sharing it with the entire league. So, Sorry, you recording?
Oh yeah, I clicked record already.
Okay. So, I recently started using a dating app, just, like, for fun, because I've never used dating apps. Didn't need to, right? But I was like, I've just been too busy with work, and I'm like, let's see what happens. And holy shit, is it demoralizing in terms of, like, how many people that I've, like, I find unattractive that I've dated significantly more attractive people than like who are not matching with me, but you can like see what I'm using Hinge so you can see what they like. They like my profile. I'm like, holy shit, what's going on? Like all these attractive people are liking my profile, and then only get like a few attractive people. Very demoralizing. I'm like, have I just been like hitting out of my league my entire life?
Welcome to the club, lad.
I'm sure it's just that's how the apps work, right? Like you get a lot of people trying to upgrade, but out of their social status, or so to speak.
Yeah.
But anyway, baseball.
Is that a humble brag? I don't know.
It's not as good as me when I was in Toronto on
maybe
Tinder.
Maybe I'm just like a lot uglier than I thought. I don't know.
I know for certain I'm uglier than I think I am. Or thought
But like,
I was.
I guess maybe just my confidence like was working its way, into like I just found my way into other kind of situations throughout my life, and then now that when it comes to the dating app and it's just like my pictures and what I write, it's not so good. It's not so good.
Yeah, that's actually my best form. Is if they don't look at the pictures, it's my bio that brings them in, right?
Right. Okay.
I actually have no idea. I am so old at this point that I've never used a dating
I
app.
feel like a fucking boomer. Like, don't get me wrong. Like,
oh yeah.
Because I've never.
I just mean like I'm domesticated as fuck. I'm an indoor cat.
Right.
I know that for definite.
If I go out there, an eagle's gonna get me. That's coyote, a truck stop bathroom coyote.
I think my favorite time is when you asked Natalie if you can go to Toronto, and I heard in the background, "Is Bear going?" And it's like, "Yes, you can go."
Yeah. You're a known quantity, I suppose.
I'm a famous quantity.
There you go. Yeah, it's if I get to meet the Bear.
I can't believe like that's what it's like. Okay, like considering what I remember from the trip, it's like what the fuck. Like, I think there's a lot more normal people on the trip versus Bear.
Yeah, but the normal people, like just like RFBL teams, if they're just kind of normal and average, they don't make the talk. Like they don't make the headlines.
Don't get me wrong. There was also people that were, if you were to mention their names, it's like compared to Bear, it's like definitely don't go. I'm not gonna name names, but there were some of those people.
Yeah, I met him. He was wearing a Sharks jersey.
He was sleeping in the same bed as me for 3 days.
Oh yeah, you guys got cuddly. It's all good. What happened in Toronto stays in Toronto, except what didn't.
Yeah, exactly.
The only thing I can say about him is it was much easier to sleep in the bed with him than it was with most women, because I wasn't being shoved out of the bed.
I'm not touching that. Sorry.
Right.
Maybe if you weighed more than 110 pounds, they wouldn't be able to do.
Actually, I weighed myself today. I weigh 130.
Wow, congrats.
You're now in a different weight class from Lone Wolf. How's that feel?
I weigh 59 kilos, so I'm not outside of the Lone Wolf's weight class yet.
Oh, yeah. You might be in the Rice Boy category now.
Oh boy.
In 1 kilo's time,
Super ultra flyweight.
We should have had a me and Lone Wolf boxing match. That would be entertaining. Super featherweight.
Nancy would have been there.
Nancy would have been my biggest fan.
She would have been your Mick from Rocky.
Oh, I miss Nancy, man.
Oliver was denied that opportunity.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Baseball?
Baseball, where we kind of almost got back there, but baseball indeed. What do I normally say? Greetings, salutations, welcome to the RFBL Report, or the Baseball Podcast for our Spanish listeners. And yeah, joining me, as usual, this is where Barry's supposed to talk.
It is Bear. Yeah.
Excellent. But also joining us, unusually, or regularly, the one, the only. Man doesn't actually need an introduction, because I don't really know what would most people know you by.
It's Oliver. Like, that's what
All right.
people reluctantly use my name because they know I want them to use it. So they're like, I'm gonna try to use like old, like, you know, Discord names or whatever. But
That's
no,
why I call you
Oliver.
Momo.
Like, it's just Oliver.
All right, it's just Oliver. I built it up and then I bailed. It's kind of like my expectations for the season. Build them up and then bail. But baseball. It's been a happening off season. You won the championship, somewhat unexpectedly. Question
I think
mark.
that's how it goes usually, right?
Yeah, the best team usually doesn't win,
Exactly.
except for that time where they did over and over again.
Although, to be fair, I think the best team wasn't even in the World Series. So,
Are you
Who did you-
hinting to someone?
like,
Who did
was
you-
who was the best team? What do you guys think?
Castlegar. No.
Oh,
Probably Springfield from the CL.
Yeah, that's what I would say, and he didn't make it to the World Series. So.
But like I would say that like it's Springfield and then probably any four of the Pacific. Like it's not as big a gap as one would
Okay.
think.
I'm gonna say my record was interesting, especially when you look at my starting pitching. That I literally had a hole for my fifth starter the entire season. I had 4 starters, and I would lose
I'm
every
aware.
fifth game automatically. So when you get into the playoffs, it doesn't matter, right? Like that, the fact that I would lose every 5th game automatically because I didn't have a 5th starter, playoffs doesn't matter. So I think my team was definitely up there. It just definitely wasn't the best team, but I don't think it was like a super like dark horse like out of nowhere, right?
So basically, what you're saying is you are the equivalent of the Blue Jays.
Maybe, I don't know.
Because I was
Maybe.
like a fifth pitcher.
And
Oh
like,
yeah.
no, this is like super conspiracy level type stuff, but like I swear playoff experience matters in this game. I don't know why. I just think it does.
I'm hearing an awful lot of crinkling from the tin foil over there, Oliver.
Yeah, I mean, I just
But,
think
like,
it's true, and I got a lot of World Series winners on my team, so
If that were true, I think I would probably have a couple more, or I might have made the playoffs. No, but I actually get what you're saying. I get what you're saying, because like I think that veteran players, their expected outcomes are a little bit more stable than the guys that are still trying to establish themselves. So like I think that consistency kind of comes into play. And if you've got some proven playoff performers, I feel like there are guys that are legitimately, they step up in the playoffs over and over again, and there's guys that wilt. And I've seen this. We've played enough seasons now that I've seen this impact. I know you're going to laugh about this, but Alex DeLeon was not a playoff performer. He had great regular seasons and then get to the playoffs and it'd be like, oh, cool. He dropped 70 points of weighted runs created.
oh, I remember.
Exceptional.
I remember.
Yeah. There were guys like that, though. But, like, for example, on my team now, that ancient catcher, Alex Ebelan, I think he's been like a playoff MVP like 3 times for a series. And if you look, his weighted runs created jumps like 40 points in the postseason, and it's held across like multiple playoff runs like that. There are just some guys, it seems, that are playoff performers and others that are not.
I mean, like Toet has a 174 WRC plus through 103 playoff games. Like,
yeah, like that's a playoff performer.
Yeah, he makes me think a lot of like Brian Berg. If you look at Brian Berg, or that's his name, right? Berg. First name was Brian.
Yeah, Brian Berg.
Yeah, he like if you look at his postseason stats, like it's unreal. Best postseason pitcher of all time for sure, right? He's like just got the clutch factor.
A real
Definitely
Greg Maddux.
Players who are able to do that, right?
Yeah.
And then others crumble under the pressure.
Yep, that's been my experience as well.
2037, Brian Berg, 218 ERA plus.
It's pretty good.
Yeah. Very good pitcher.
I'm looking at Steve Beasley right now because I was like, I wonder what kind of player Steve Beasley is in the postseason. And it made me sad.
0 games. He thought he was going to taste the postseason last year. Didn't happen.
Oh, it was so close. It was so close, too.
I wonder if Steve Beasley has like the no playoff curse. You know?
Could be. Maybe he was the problem in Motor City.
What I'm going to suggest is maybe you trade him to the Bears and then you might make him to the playoffs.
I'd need like a real Luskin to Oh, never mind.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So did we want to kind of go through the divisions where we think what things are going to happen, or go through off seasons, or what were we thinking here? This has kind of come up real improvised like.
I think that's fine. I don't know. Whatever you guys want to do.
Just go by divisions, isn't it? Easy.
Go by divisions, isn't it? You want to start in the VL because they won the championship?
Go on then. Let's start with Halifax. Good old.
So you want to start with Halifax?
Yeah, let's start with Halifax. Let's do it for our Lord and Savior.
Okay, so the Atlantic. He kind of lost a few players this offseason. I think he's done his best to add in some potential where they might have lost it. But Hampus Amdahl, his shortstop, he traded him to Chicago. He's been pretty reasonable player for a few years there. Like he's put up some above average offensive seasons. He's been pretty good with the glove. Like that's definitely a loss for Halifax. He also lost Borja Yafrikov. He was allowed to walk, and he had a bit of a resurgent season being away from the Bears. So couple pieces that he's had to kind of fill around, but he's done some of that. You see, got Watanabe, longtime Bear. Looks to be a pretty good defensive shortstop. Pretty reasonable anyways. That was a bit of an issue.
I really like that contract. I think it's a really nice contract.
A 13 for Watanabe?
Yeah, that's
for
what some of the other guys are going for in free agency. Like this was very nice.
Yeah, he's a bit of an injury risk, but I think the value is definitely there. If he can add with the glove and even bring a little bit of the bat, like how many shortstops are hitting 15 home runs a season? Not too many.
Yeah, I think you probably count it on one hand, maybe two if you're lucky.
Yeah. I know I've got one of them, right? So, like...
I can definitely tell you I don't have one of them.
Hey, man. Maybe if Ciora gets some of those roids I hear about, some HGH, might hit 15. He's got to get some of those Tapia home runs where the guy just loses it and then gives up on getting it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the type of home run. Actually, I think my
Inside the
shortstop
Parker.
does have one home run this season already. Only 14 to go.
Glorious day. So we think the Halifax Highlanders are probably the creme de la creme of the Atlantic. I think they're likely to win this division. It's really more of a question of is anybody going to step up to compete for a wild card out of here, or is there still a free wild card in the BL?
I think I'm still a believer in the Cape Breton Woodcocks. I think they have a chance. But like, man, it's so disappointing. This team is like seems so close to, taking that step, making the postseason for like 2 years now. It just hasn't happened. So it's making it hard to like keep believing in them. But
I'm a Woodcocks truther myself, and I'm something of a Woodcocks truther myself, and I really like the pitching. I think the pitching's really solid. I like Jong-Hoon Lee. I'm waiting for him to get back to that previous level he was at. Aitor Dart. That sounds like some sort of weird rural Ontario expression. Aitor Darty. I expect more out of him. He looks like he should be a pretty good contributor. I like the starting rotation. I like some of the lineup. Like Mike Plummer has been pretty good for a long time. Not like a superstar, but just like a quality franchise guy. There's pieces here. He's got a good catcher. Willie Medina is a good second baseman. I'm not sure what's going on at shortstop. Like he's using a pure glove cuck there with Flores, but like it was letting Villamil go so that he could replace it with a lesser player. And get that. I think that was that Ausanen. That outfielder.
Yeah.
That was a bit of a questionable. Those resources could have been used on a better shortstop. Is all I'm getting at. Whether that was Villamil or the guy Halifax ended up with Watanabe, like one of those shortstops.
Wasn't Villamil was a former Cape Breton player? He just went to the Zabbies.
Yeah. And he said goodbye to longtime Chris Rollins, like former MVP Chris Rollins, who's going to go retire in the Sunnyvale system.
That's a given.
That's where he is.
I know. It's a given.
I think he would have the money to sign Gustav Nikolaisen or whatever on Kiev. He could have probably signed him if he just didn't like spread that money to these kind of middling. Middling is a nice word to use for them. Middling players. I think they're really more like bubble players. Whether or not they make a major league team is like debatable. So if he, rather than signing all these guys for like 7 million, 8 million, whatever, could have just got a solid shortstop, and then had some. If he wants to have those middling players, just have them on minor league deals. There's minor league guys you can put up there.
So can we talk about the most important thing about Cape Breton though? The last year of Jeff Mark's contract.
Oh, is he still there?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there he is, Jeff Mark.
Is he on waivers right now? I think he is, right? Yeah,
oh, I could have a Jeff Mark of my very own. His ratings don't look that bad. I'm just saying. Maybe it's my scouting. I don't think his ratings look that bad. The contract, but he should be at least in the majors, right?
Maybe as like a bench guy, like a backup catcher.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but
okay, whatever.
$26 million backup catcher.
You're getting something out of him. I don't mind Pedro Mejia either in his system. Yeah, he's got some glove cuck potential for the Woodcucks. Kind of below average in everything, but like not so below average that he couldn't be at least a fine backup. But I think the Woodcucks are probably second in this division, maybe by default. I know Newfoundland took a step back and has kind of re-examined what they're looking to do. And I think I think they're probably going to be fourth as a result. And Sunnyvale, they've got lots of gaps. They've been signing some guys to fill those gaps. I think Esteban Tenori is a pretty reasonable bounce back candidate. Bill Selmy is probably an adequate glove man. Like there's a couple guys that could be okay. I think they're probably better than Newfoundland, but I don't think Sunnyvale or Newfoundland are likely to compete this year. And probably Woodcucks might have an outside chance at being maybe a second wildcard spot contender. Is that probably the tier? Unlikely playoff, but possible.
I think the wild card in the VL is pretty weak, so they definitely have a shot.
Yeah. All right. And if we want to give a little bit more to Newfoundland, Newfoundland saw a bunch of pitchers leave. They got a whole rotation left, along with franchise icon Kunwoo Park. Like Castaneda went to the Bears. Slesser went to the Springfields. Mike Arias is still a free agent, but he let him walk as well. So they've lost some pitching, and I don't know that they had it internally to afford to lose 7 WAR starters. Yeah, pitching's going to be an adventure for them.
I think I'm pretty sure he's trying to move a couple players still, right? So I think Jung Hoon Kim is available, so we'll see if he moves.
He's been pretty good for a very long time.
He's having a slow start, but yeah, he has been good.
I'll be real. I haven't updated my anything. I'm still working in preseason mode.
Oh, so he's at 50 OPS plus. So sorry, I mean his first 8 games. So like, doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, he's I still have it on postseason numbers. Whoops. He's a career 126, so like he should probably bounce back, and he's got the attributes. His defense is declining a bit, but like there's no reason he can't play the field still as a below average right fielder or an average left.
There's no ratings decline or anything to indicate that he should be much worse. So he could have a down year, but it's not going to be as bad as it is right now.
Yeah, I think part of it's the Visa the Bird Vuorinen taking a step back has kind of hurt this team in advancing as well. So there's some potential for some good offensive seasons here, I think, and we'll see where they go with the pitching as they try to rebuild again on the fly. Moving to the next division, the most important division.
Wait. I just want to jump in. So like Sunnyvale is not for real, right? Like that's
no fucking way. No way.
Okay.
I didn't think we needed to address that. Like he's finally called up Snapper. This guy, I just did not buy into this guy at the draft just because I saw the avoid Ks being so low and the contact being so high. And my understanding is there's a soft linkage between those two numbers. So like it would be hard to hit that contact upside with the avoid K so low. Like it checks both of those when it's determining whether you hit the ball, no?
Yeah.
So I just feel like this is a guy kind of like Juan Velez, at which, okay, if you get a Juan Velez bat at center field, like that's hilarious. But like, I just mean Juan Velez never hit better than 255 for me. It was the avoid K was creating a 7D contact, not to click at that rate. So that was just the issue I had with this guy at the draft. But he's just blowing through that, right? Like he's just gotten better and better and better. And he looks insane at this point. Like,
I think he's not actually going to be as good of a bat as he seems.
Yes.
I think a lot of but we'll see.
He's going to hit bombs, man.
He is. I think a lot of it is also like he's a center fielder, and if he's defensively good at center field, then he'll be amazing because of that. But we'll see if he's a plus or minus defensively. That's like the big.
He's borderline center field, but I think it's like a Steve Beasley where if he hits as that, you play him in center field just because of what a weapon that is against your average center fielder. It also depends on your park. Like Bear couldn't run this guy in center field.
Yeah,
this isn't a center fielder for Bear.
This is a left field.
He's fast too. This guy has severe 40-40 potential. Like, I will say, I think Sunnyvale as an overall team kind of blows this year, but they have some really high impact, really fun players. Like, if you were a fan of this team in real life and you saw Lee Song Lee and Francisco Barajas, Mr. Clean, on your team, you'd be like, I'm still going to the ballpark because it's going to be fun to watch these guys every night. Mm-hmm. And then you got like Ruggero Visario is one of the best catchers of all time. He's fallen off quite a bit, but like he's still a strong catcher. That would be a fun player to watch, you know? I think they're okay. Like they could be third. If they have an outlier year, as he sometimes does, maybe second. But Euro Division, is this the decade of the men? Are the men the cream of the crop?
Well,
do we think Mario Coronado is for real?
I might have Kiev over Isle of Man here.
I've been saying it for 2 years now that I think Kiev is considerably better. But like last year, stuff happened. Edwin Vasquez became a god. I don't know that Sooner's going to do it again, but he's still going to be a pretty good bat, you know?
So he started out first 7 games, basically the same kind of numbers, but...
Oh, God.
30% walk rate. He's at a 30% walk rate right now. Like, no one... like. The best walkers of all time don't have 30% walk rates, so like it's not gonna happen. Like
everyone's just
remember last year
so don't get bombed.
He was on pace to break records until mid-August, and then like crashed and burned, and then ended with. I mean, to be fair, he still ended with 10 WAR.
Ended with 10 WAR.
But like he crashed and burned for that last month. Like he did not have a good last month and a half.
Osamu Seki was real good for him though too. Yeah. That actually helped out a lot. I think is having that second bat, that second thumper in the heart of the order. Like Seki had a bounce back year. He was a 147 OPS plus. He was almost 5 WAR. Like that's a nice piece.
I think when it comes to Isle of Man, like a lot of his pitchers had like amazing years last year.
And that was
And
what I had highlighted.
Vasquez had like, or Sooner had like best year of his life, like he's ever gonna have probably. Although we'll see, maybe he'll have it again. So, in terms of that, like, it's hard to get better than that. It's pretty easy to get worse than that.
Yeah.
Right. Still playoff. You know, for sure. Like I think he's a lock for playoffs, but I don't know if he's the top team in the division.
I still see some issues here. The issues are what they kind of always were, right? Like shortstop is an issue. I know Mario Coronado looks good, bolts. He looks good, but rubber didn't meet road last year. And the thing is that he kind of looks borderline defensively. I know, I hate it too. But like a 55 shortstop, you need them to produce offensively to for that to be viable. Like I get that out of Brian Quinn. And he hits like one of the very best, like the best shortstop. So it's okay when I'm losing some runs defensively from that. But like if Coronado's an 80 OPS plus bat, like he should be better. But if that's what he's going to produce, yeah. I just I look at that and I see that as a bit of a hole, especially because like, he might play up at third base. Like defensively, he'd be an elite third baseman as well. And like Ollie Weinberg is like,
he can be an elite right fielder as well. You can like. He's very solid defensively wherever you pull him, so you can pull him wherever there's a hole instead of shortstop, and he'll be strong.
I don't love Loefflinger Whale in center field, but like he's fine. He's a glove cucky kind of guy. Victor Salome, again, was fine last year. He's got some guys that are just guys. Jesus Azarte, I don't think is very good, but again, he's a guy. He's a starter. He's an average starter. You know, making good money. But like, yeah.
What was it that Lone Wolf said? He said, I'm trying to remember exactly what he said. Something about, what's that? There's like a saying, basically, when you're like not supposed to keep a player, it's like sunk cost fallacy. He used that to be like, that's why I should keep him. So,
but that the sunk cost fallacy is that if you continue to keep that player, you're keeping him on the basis of a sunk cost. You've already overpaid to acquire that player. Holding them is like the thing, right?
That's
like
the fallacy.
Well, I guess I better.
You're supposed to. But...
No, you're supposed to go. Oh, I made a mistake. Move on.
Yeah, he said something about sunk cost, so I'm going to keep him.
All right. Well, it is a sunk cost, but I mean, like, yeah. If that's the reason you're keeping him, then... But I guess like the thing is, if you think that nobody's going to acquire that, like if the market's going to be soft, then maybe it's worthwhile. Like,
well, he had a team option. He could have just got rid of him.
Yeah, could have. But like, there you go. I think I think he's probably second in the division. But we'll see. He like the first year he made the playoffs, he was pretty lucky. You look at that, he was like plus 50 on expected wins delta, or like the expected runs delta. Like he was just outperforming the expectation on both sides of the ball. Extremely kind of outlier. He had a massive Pythag swing. Said, well, there could be reason to be kind of bearish on that. And then last season, he genuinely got better, but it was carried by some very outlierish performances. So I guess it depends how many of those are for real and how many of them were career years. Did the stars align, and will he continue to be the dominant team in the Euro division?
I don't think so. I think he'll be.
I like Kiev a lot. I think the team is pretty strong.
Mm-hmm.
Got some good veterans, got some good young performers as well. Like I really think this Rodrigue Mera guy, that scouting discovery he got, he looks good. He's just looking to take that next step. You know, it's one of those guys that you think has more. The lineup looks a little less intimidating than perhaps it has in recent years. I don't know that I'd Edwin Joaquin off. I think he'd probably be near the bottom of the order for me, but if that might just be where he kind of aligns with the other pieces here. If there's nobody that really fits as a clean leadoff hitter otherwise.
Who's Edward Joaquin?
I thought I said Ethan. Did I say Edward?
Yeah, and I didn't know his name was, pretty sure it's Jacquin because he's French, but yeah.
I don't care for the French.
Yeah.
So
Is that a normal French sound?
Well, in
Jacqueline?
French it would be Jacquin, but yes, it would not be
Jacquin.
Joaquin. It would be
Jacquin.
Jacquin. It would be Jacquin.
I've been tricked on too many quasi-Italians lately. I just assumed that he was from like somewhere else.
No. If he was like from South America or something, yeah, like Joaquin would make a lot more sense. But no,
Yeah.
I think it's Jacquin.
Yeah,
Anyway.
no, you're right. Okay, fine. Jacquin.
I am surprised he's using him leadoff though. I'm very familiar with Ethan Jacquin, and leadoff is not where I would put him.
But you know what it is? I'm looking around here, and there's imperfect fits at leadoff. Like, if you look around his team, there's nobody else that really looks like they stand out as a leadoff. Like, maybe Sean Atteridge. That might be the guy, but, like, he's a power bat. Like, this lineup, I'm not going to say it's bad. I don't think it's bad, but it's less intimidating than it has been in recent years.
imbalanced.
That's true. He doesn't really have a guy who walks a lot. Right?
Yeah, and he was looking for a third baseman, and I had some introductory kind of talks. I said, well, you interested in Gutierrez? He led the league in WAR at third base last year. And he's like, nah. Okay.
Yeah,
And, you know,
right
like-
now, Pineda's making me look stupid because I thought this was one of the worst contracts signed in free agency, and Pineda's on pace for 17 WAR. So
Is that a good first sim? I was looking at that too, and I went, wow, that's an interesting contract to a guy that's coming off a real down season who's really struggled to stay healthy generally.
Mm-hmm.
Like, good personality, the batting attributes look solid. Like, he looks like he could have a little bit of upside, but the contact avoid K thing, he's always going to be like, yeah. those are the holes in the swing, you know. And his injury history is concerning. But like third base, yeah, he could be a pretty good third baseman. Second base, yeah, he could be a pretty good second baseman. I don't know. I think he's trying to just keep the window open and let some young players carry. So young players taking a step forward is the same as try to outpace the older players falling off.
Mm-hmm.
As one does. I still like that catcher he's got.
That's a good catcher.
That's a very good catcher.
I want that catcher.
But yeah, I don't know. I think Kyiv has probably fallen and Nileman has risen to where I think they're in a pretty comparable tier of team.
Yeah.
I think I give like an edge to because I buy into Kyiv's pitching a little bit more. But yeah, either one I think could walk away with the division. I don't think it's going to be Zurich.
Nope.
He's made some really good moves for the future, adding some future assets here. And there are some guys like Ivan Contreras is so good. He's so good. So like there are some guys here that do drive results, but like there's a lot that still has to happen for this team to kind of get into competing every day.
What about that one?
You gonna
team-
say it?
The one team that hasn't won yet, the
Who?
Mr. Bear.
Who?
Oh, I will say, from my perspective here, Bear's just coming off a reeling series of injuries to rotation pieces. In that Shoji Matsuda, who was quite strong last year, he was worth 2 WAR. That's pretty strong for a back the rotation kind of guy. He's out for a large section of the season. And then Teres Luzgin, who is, I think, on my ballot for Holland. I think he was pretty close to Holland worthy last year. He's
There's
done.
no way he was on your ballot. His ROR was terrible. Or like you mean like he was up there, but not like your number one. That's what you're saying.
No, he was. I didn't put him number 1. He was in the top 5. I think I voted like one of your guys. Was Alvarado have another great year? Probably Alvarado.
I would like to say the Bears have managed to lose 4 games in those 6 games by 1 run.
Okay, so here's where I'm going to go with this. Is that I don't think the Bears, as equipped offensively, are in a good position to win 1-run games. And the reason I say it is that there are like 5 guys in your lineup that are probably below average hitters. 5 out of 9. So I just mean like there's big like when just a bloop and a blast can win it, having like 4 or 5 guys be like non-factors offensively is really hard. But feel free, like some of you do have some good guys. Like I really like Kang. Kang, I think, is going to be a monster. I think Oscar Ramirez is pretty good as a right fielder, maybe fringe center fielder. Like pretty good. I do like some guys here. I just, yeah. Your pitching looks like pretty solid. Like you got some relievers that look pretty reasonable as well. But it's really, I feel like the offense is going to be what gets you. You're just going to fall 1 run short, you know?
Yeah. I noticed the biggest issue was by defense for the past few years. So try and fix that. And apparently I've already made like 4 errors in the first week somehow. So I don't know how to feel right now, because I lost 1 game on the pure fact that I had 4 unearned runs in 1 innings. So thank you.
Sorry,
game.
I can't make him stop.
Bear, can I ask you a question?
Go on.
So why did you trade your first round? Like, how many first round picks did you trade? Like, how many? When's the next first round pick that you have?
I traded 2.
Okay, so your next first round pick that's available is the same time my next first round pick is available, right?
Yep.
Probably. Why did you do this?
I just wanted to try and improve my team somehow, because
Okay.
like all my players are already 27, 28. There's only 6 years left.
Well, like the one thing that now this is like huge risk and a massive gamble, but like I feel like if my team was in this position, because I've never been in this position, but like if I had these 27-year-old guys who are like really really good, and then like there's nothing much around them, because you have some like really like legit studs, right, and then everything else kind of drops off. Couldn't you like just try to trade them for like an insane amount, and then you have just all this stuff, and then you're like, oh, now I'm like.
We have
say
spoken
5-6
privately
years?
in the past, and we know what type of offers I get.
Okay.
Well,
but like, you know,
okay, hold on 1 second, Bear, because like, okay, I know what kind of offers you get, but you have to wonder, is part of the reason you get those offers because people think they might work?
What, for them? Definitely.
I just mean like
Not
there's
a
a
chance.
reason Thaner keeps messaging you. There's a reason Thaner keeps messaging you. Thaner never, but I hear from him like once every 3 months, and I'm always wondering who the actual player he's asking about is, because it's like it'll be very fun spoonerism. But like he seems to be on speed dial with you, Bear.
Yeah, but like if I try and sell a player, there's only 1 person that ever offers me an offer, and it's so underwhelming.
well, like, I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, I would trade a lot for Luskin or Quezada or Quesadilla. What the hell is? I don't know his name.
Right.
It's Quezada.
We spoke in private about me selling Luskin to Funzo, and we saw the offer that I got given.
Yeah. Okay. Like, I mean, I'm sure it was not too different than what he just traded for. What's his name? Guy from
Slesser.
Newfoundland. Yeah.
Slesser.
And it's not a great. I don't think that's a great return, but
That's
I feel like
You know what? I do like Betancourt. I do like Betancourt. Like, sue me. I think the other guy was selling high on a reliever who hadn't proved he's a reliever yet, but he's going to be a reliever.
But that's the problem I'm dealing with. Like, it doesn't matter what I'm trying to sell. If I don't receive offers that are decent and that's going to strengthen me in the future, what are you going to do? You're just going to be sitting on someone for another 6 years, and you'll just be...
Well, you could chop them every year, right? Like, you don't have to make the trade as soon as offers come in. You can chop them every year, and eventually someone will give you a good offer. Right? There's been so many times that I've tried to trade for players or trade a player, and then, like, the talks kind of, like, fizzle, and then, like, a year, like, next season, like, trade the player or get the player, right? And
The issue is I've tried that, and it's still shite.
Hey, listen, I will note, I was trying to get Luskin from you, and I was offering up that Otter guy, Jin Young Lee.
The issue is, but the issue of that is, I've already...
You wanted to compete as well. I get it. Because you were asking for roster players as well, right? Like that was the thing. It was like, I'll give you Otter, and you're like, but I'd need a good pitcher back. And
well, yeah, that's never gonna happen. Right? You're never gonna get good roster players and very, very good prospects at the same time.
And like, hey man, I respect the hustle. Like didn't materialize, but
I can guarantee it. If I put the players on earlier and offer them for trade, I guarantee I would have got the shittiest of offers that I'd get, like I always do. And that's the problem I have every single time.
So instead, one piece away, baby.
Yeah, I might as well just keep suffering because there's no point half the time.
I like your rotation a lot.
If Luzgan hadn't immediately died, then...
But even without Luzgan, you still have like 4 solid arms. You don't need... Like, your 5th arm is not super, super important, right?
Milker Buttvist is pretty good. I like that guy.
The problem is, like, your lineup is just kind of...
Anemic?
Like Alex said, it was like below average, right? A lot of guys below average. So, it's really hard to get runs. Like, it's very hard for a team to get runs.
Guy's so bad with the stick that Agile's considering him for shortstop.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think your team should have no wins, but I'm just saying, like, it's. I don't. Yeah. I think it's still going to be a tough season, no matter what. Right? Just because you're going to struggle to get runs.
But the thing is that, like, I don't know. Keep an eye on the waiver wire. There's always people like that think they can sneak a guy through, and you might find like some cromulent.
Waiver wire is massive right now. There's so many guys. There are so many guys.
I was managing things for Motor City, and he has so many guys that were just fresh out of options this year, and I was like, I don't want to waive these guys. Like, but it's not that I'm not advertising. Go claim his guys, but I just mean like they're guys that seem like they could be cromulent for him or for somebody else. It's just like there's a real roster churn at the fringes of any roster by nature.
55 players on waivers right now. Like there are.
I should go sneak some of my guys through.
Yeah, I don't think I have any, but yeah, there's like some pretty good relievers in there too. I think it's definitely worth offering on some of them. So
yeah,
I'm glad no one's gonna hear this until after the sim, so we can.
I should probably get my.
Bear, you should do because you're gonna get them right. Because your standings position from last year, right? I think that's how it works, right?
Something like that.
It's either current or last year's, so
yeah.
There's only like 3 teams below me.
So here's the thing for me with the Bears. I think they had a good offseason, like in regards to adding talent to the roster. I think that they were 7th in WAR gain, which wasn't huge. It was 0.9. But I mean, if all the teams around you are losing and you're staying neutral or improving, like Kiev lost 4 WAR, Isle of Man lost like a WAR, Zurich lost a WAR. Like, yeah, if you can get hot and get some good pitching and maybe some unexpected offensive contributions, maybe you sit higher at the end of the year than we think, right? Like free wild card in the VL, right? That second wild card is going to be weak. Is it unheard of that maybe you would compete or take Zurich's spot in 3rd?
No, have we ever
Possible.
seen? No, probably not. Have we seen my luck?
Well, Craig says he's pretty unlucky too, so maybe you guys are into a cursed off.
Okay, I don't think he's had his picture taken from him. And again, in spring training for an entire season.
And it's happened a few times in history, I know.
And this year, it's 2 of my pictures in the starting rotation, so I know what my luck is this year. So I reckon by the end of the year, it'd be like that season where I almost made playoffs and turned out I've lost the entire rotation to injury for 3 to 7 months. It's going to happen again this year.
All right. Well, conversely, like we've talked about unlucky. Speaking of lucky bullshit, let's go to the Asian division. And let's start with Beijing.
I thought you were going to go a different direction, but...
Did you feel that stray coming?
No, I thought you were going to talk about Pyongyang, but like, if we're talking about lucky, Beijing last postseason, holy shit, was that lucky.
What a run. What a run.
Oh my god. He was fucking, 1 inning away from the World Series, and then he got, He got boomed as he rightfully should have, but
Everybody should have listened to you and gotten Ranchikov.
yeah, he had a great season. This is really
Proven playoff performer. World
I-
Series MVP.
I don't know if he had a great postseason, but yeah.
I'm not looking it up. I don't care that much.
He's unsigned right now, by the way. Looks like he's wrecked, but you could probably sign him real cheap. I might actually just offer a minor league contract, see what he says.
Sad.
Yeah.
But yeah,
of 9.5 mil.
Halfcast made some moves. He let Yang and Ranchikov walk. Elliot Couch is still a free agent. I don't know why I think that's noteworthy. This is one of those guys that always thinks he's better than he is. I think he's played as a reliever on some teams.
He's not a free agent, by the way. He signed with Springfield.
Oh, did he? Okay, there we go.
16 mil, yeah.
Okay.
One year deal, 16 mil.
That's bold. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
He seems like a better reliever than a starter, but he's always asking for starter prices. So I don't know. He's always been a guy where I'm like, oh, maybe no.
He hasn't started in 2 seasons, so
Yep.
it's a lot of money.
Yep. Noel Jansen going over to Beijing. He has been adequate. He's been playing. This is the guy that's been playing in relief for Shanghai for like 3 seasons now, which I didn't realize. But he used to be a reasonably effective kind of mid-back rotation starter. Had like a couple okay years as slightly above average at league average.
He's currently like emergency starter, long relief, but
Well, that's why you pay a guy $17 million.
What is going on? What is happening? What this person was one oh my god, I'm not gonna do it, but you know what? It's half guess, like, cause he knows I'm not actually that serious when I should talk to him, but like,
But
he's one inning away from the World Series, and this is kind of like the decision he makes. Like, what is going on?
Hey, buddy, you got to spend $30 million on bullpen arms. Like Dissing got a big deal from him too, right?
Yeah, he did. Yeah, 13 mil.
That guy wipes out lefties, though. Like, to be fair, if I had a big lefty coming up in a very important game,
he's projected for 5.2 R-WAR this season, so like he's worth the money.
Like that's a pretty valuable late inning arm, I would think.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't begrudge that contract. It's just wild that like Noel Jansen. Like I was looking at this guy as a potential like 4 or 5 starter. So I was kind of in on this, and then it's like 17 by 1. Oh, see ya. Just because like I don't think he's proven anything as a starter in a while. He's been a reliever and kind of inconsistent results. So I don't know. More power to him, I guess. Good luck with that. How's Yanagi doing so far in the season?
I think he's all right. Let me just double check.
Because that was the other big addition.
Yeah, what's his nickname again?
Rip.
13 WRC plus, so not a good start. Playing him at first base, which is interesting, but
Yeah.
not really.
First base defense is not a big priority for me either. So
I think he's fine defensively at first base. I mean, this is like Bobby Bonilla. I know I said it because you hate it. It's Bobby Bonilla, but he's got a similar like defense. He's not good at first, but I think Yanagi will hit like a lot better than he is right now.
yeah, he should be at least above average offensive performer. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I think Beijing's probably a bubble team again. Maybe they get that soft second wild card, but they're going to be competing with Zurich, Cape Breton, maybe the Bears.
I got one team before Zurich, but yeah, Cape Breton.
Yeah, I think they're better than Zurich. Like just looking at them, like the rotation has like I really like Juan Gonzalez. Steve Leppert has turned into a pretty good arm. I think Chaim is pretty good. Like he's got some depth in that rotation. Like that's pretty quality rotation. I don't know if the offense has the same depth, but like he's just like Chang is greater things are ahead for this Chang kid. He looks like a real strong right fielder moving forward. He's got a really good catcher as well. Good bat first catcher. I like Riley Hussein. He gives me some nice Gutierrez vibes. Kind of big swinger, free swinger, questionable defensively, but like I like that. That's fun. I don't know. There's some holes here too, but like for the most part, it seems like he's got gloves where he needs it at shortstop, center field, and some bats in there. And I don't know. It seems like a pretty solid team. Like, I think they're probably second in this division.
So I just want to ask you, you see Steve Leppard as like a closer, right?
Is he closing now?
He's his closer.
Huh.
Interesting. He's been a starter for the last few years. He was really good last year.
Great starter. I'm really confused why he's set as the closer.
He's got a really good 3-pitch mix too. Like
Maybe he's
fastball,
been-
slider, circle change.
I think that playoff loss might have gotten to Kafka's head. Like, because it was bullpen, you know. Basically, bullpen blew the game, like, completely, right? Gave up 6 runs in a 7-6 game. So.
That's so bad. Oh,
Yeah.
fuck. As someone who gets that routinely, like, I'd feel that.
Yeah,
Viscerally.
Three of those were in the 9th inning. So.
Oh, fuck. I was 9 outs from having a championship instead of you a couple years ago, but for a bullpen blowout. I feel it.
I remember the reverse sweep to Boston when I had what's his name? It was Danny Sanchez, not Sanchez. I purged that guy's. I hated him so much. My closer, he blew the game. I was 2 innings
Justin
away
Hall
or something.
No.
No. It was. I'd have to look up his name. I traded him to Washington. But anyway, he blew game 4. I was up in the 7th or 8th inning, and he came in for a high leverage relief, inning, and he just blew the game completely. Gave up a home run, and I lost 4 games in a row right after that. Fuck this guy. The guy never got to be a closer again. So that shit.
All right. So let's talk about Peking then here, because there's some big. They won the championship and then added some definite value in the offseason. You got Wong, Zili Wong, and Pavlov Pivnyuk. So you added some value there, but said goodbye to long-term Peking center fielder.
Yeah.
And you moved DeArmond, who was actually pretty good for you last year in some split timeshare kind of arrangement.
I think in the aggregate it goes up. Everything gets better because defensively my right field gets better. I think Bird can hit a lot better than he did last year, and he's showing it to start the season. I think he can put up similar numbers to DeArmond, and then putting Toad in DH just gives him more at-bats, so more plate appearances, so I think it's better overall.
Mm-hmm.
And he can't play defense this year anymore either. He lost ratings in defense. That was perfect timing.
And then getting Zili Wong, who's been a real... He's getting paid. He is getting paid and has that opt-out, but he's been a real strong player for a long time now, and he's kind of evolved into more of a third baseman.
Yeah,
so he's been pretty good there.
We'll see how he does at third base. I don't know. I just needed another bat in the lineup, and I needed an infielder, so kind of figure out where to put him. He should be a second baseman.
Yeah, he's pretty good though. He's versatile. He's one of those guys that can play a few positions, and I don't even think he hurts you that bad at shortstop that I wouldn't use him to back up shortstop if I didn't have other options. Mm-hmm. Not play shortstop every day, but to back it up seems fine.
Yeah. The only thing I think that's questionable on my team is my starting rotation. I think my bullpen is solid still. I had the top bullpen last season in the VL. I've had the top bullpen I don't know how many years in a row. But the rotation is a little bit sketchy, especially with Alvarado injured to start the season. But it's a short-term injury still. But
you got Lee, and you got Park, so you've kind of got that double closer feeling, right?
Oh, and then Corbin right before. It's 3 guys in a row that have just been they could be closers on any team. They're so good, right? And those are my setup guys and my closers. I mean, the closer position for me switches depending on who's the best, right? Some of them or one of them's always gonna have a better season than the other two. I gotta say my sneaky move that I pulled off that you can't see because you haven't gotten the new file. I snuck Murakami and Matthew Hearn onto my team on minor league contracts. So Hearn's out for 2 months with a torn UCL. He's not gonna be what he was before, but
he looks shit to me.
If he's I saw his new ratings and he looks still serviceable. I think he's a good pitcher.
He was a guy that I was looking at, and just because I was looking for a 4 or 5 starter, hoping to get some value, and I scouted him, So I got the very high feedback, and he's down to like 50, 50, 50.
Okay.
So
I gotta
like
try these guys out as like fifth starters and see how they do. I
well,
think
you could do worse than that for a fifth starter. Like shit, I'm running a guy like that who's worse for my fifth starter. Like
these guys are fifth
Sun
starters
Hung Mo.
while Alvarado's out, so we'll see. Like I got a bunch of guys that are like basically competing for that 3-4-5 spot or 4-5 spot once Alvarado's back, and hopefully 2 of them run away with it. But I don't know. I got like 6 or 7 guys who could be put in that position.
Yeah. I'm using Sungwon Oh, and I think he's a 50, 55, 50. So a pretty comparable guy. And yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's going to suck while Alvarado's out, but maybe Verhoeven has a...
He had a great first game, and then second game got blown up for like 6 earned runs. So
maybe Scandal comes back.
I think Scandal's going to have a better season. He had a really good postseason. He pitched really well in the postseason. I think... Well, it's going to be like some of them are going to have good games and then bad games. It's going to be all over the place. So I just need my lineup to hit me out of those games that are where I'm not getting the pitching that I need.
Bobby Navarro doesn't seem bad for a back of rotation kind of arm. He seems like he's pitching worse than his ratings.
Yeah, well, he's really good in the bullpen. Very, very solid in the bullpen. But anytime he gets starts, he's fucking terrible. So I'm going to keep trying him out.
Tim Gillen looks washed to me, but like...
Yeah, a lot of washed players. This is where all the like old 30-year-old guys come for like cheap deals and just... Why not, right? Like they come in...
It's what Sunnydale used to be, right?
Used to be.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, except like they used to be a perennial playoff team that would then like use these guys to fill in the gaps, and that's what Peking's doing to extend that window a little bit.
Filling in all those like depth, spots with old guys on cheap deals because I don't have young guys to put there.
How do we feel about Pyongyang?
Okay. Definitely some huge lots of guys overperforming right now. Like, just look at the numbers; it's ridiculous. Vagar Nielsen with 168 WRC plus. Vagar Nielsen, this guy's never hit above 100. Like, this is ridiculous.
Everyone makes fun of me for griping about this for all those years I lost to him in the first round, but like, this team will always has these big holes, and then some asshole just comes up with a 130 weighted runs created season, like fucking Rob Barron.
Well, he's not gonna do it though. Like he's
not gonna make the playoffs. But I just mean like Vagar Nielsen's gonna have a crazy good year or something. Like somebody always steps up.
Just look through his best hitters, and you'll see like right away. Oh, none of these guys can even maintain like over 100 WRC plus, let alone the 150 plus they're at right now. Except for Elliot Traynor, that's the only guy that I think is good. But
I think Hual Lee that he got from Bear, I think that guy's pretty good.
Yeah, but he's got 89 like WRC plus right now. He's 23. He might just have like a meh season, right?
Yeah, Israel Cruz. I think Israel Cruz is really good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
center fielder. So. Like again, he's going to strike out a lot, but like he's a plus defender at center field. He's a good runner. He's got home run power.
He's manipulating Israel Cruz, by the way.
Oh shit. Okay. Well then, I will withdraw my compliment around Israel Cruz.
He'll play later in the season. Like you're right, he's good. He's probably going to play this season, and he's going to be good. But no, his center fielder right now is what's his name? Danny Fernandez. Look at Danny Fernandez. Take that in, and you want to hear what he's hitting and what he's pacing for? He's hitting 165 WRC plus, pacing for 6.1 WAR.
I tried to acquire this guy before, actually, from him, and he would not part with him. Would not part with him.
Well, this is why, right? Like,
I mean, who else is going to be hitting like that with the ratings?
So yeah, he's not going to maintain this. Like, it's just not going to happen.
How's Huge Satiro doing?
He is looking like Beijing Satiro right now. So, had some ratings drop in the off season for me at least.
I really like. I have very low scouting with him. I really like Carl Jolly. Like that. That's a pretty lucky scouting discovery find. But he looks like a real good pitcher for Pyongyang. I don't hate Matsumoto either. Although, yeah. Like he's got some pitching. He's got some pitching. Stefan Sanchez.
Yeah. No, I don't think his team is terrible. Like I think his team is like a probably a 70-win team in all seriousness. Maybe high 60s, like low 70, but he's not like a playoff team.
This is a way better team than he's been running in recent years, though, and he's been getting
it's
60
not,
wins with.
It's not the AA team that is somehow not in last place. Yeah, this is a major league team, and it's not a playoff team. So. But you can see a lot of the pieces like setting up. Like he's a few years away from starting to do some damage. I think. Like it's he's getting there.
Which takes us to our last group from that division. We got the Shanghai Dragons. They added. They're getting credit for having added Kawasaki, but they didn't. They lost Jansen. They lost Doi, though Doi retired. They lost Dissing, who looks like a really good reliever, and Rudolph Scheller. So they've had a bit of a weaker off season. Cooley Tempest is playing every day again, which is not good for anybody. But there's some pieces here. Interesting offseason. But I really like Sato on the team. He had a really strong rookie season last year. Partida's a good catcher. Really think Partida's is a very good bat first catcher. After that, I am running out of nice things to say, though.
Yeah, there's not. I don't know. I feel like this team is just like doesn't know what its identity is. Like, what does it want to do?
Catchers. Many catchers.
Yeah, but like, okay, yeah.
Just like the
like
Jays
Tobias
has 3 very good catchers.
It's a damn shame only one of them can play at any given time.
You can have one as DH.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, but that
Defeats the purpose of having catchers.
yeah, like catchers are not good DHs.
Well, they have to be a really special hitter to be make it as a DH, you know?
Yeah, but the top hitting catcher of all time is like a 120 to 130 WRC plus catcher. Like that's considered, like I think that's like average for a DH. Like that's a good DH maybe, but not really great, right?
Yeah, so, I get about that out of that spot, and I'm meh about it.
Yeah,
so.
I guess I'm kind of biased because like I've always read DHs that are Toa, and then before that, who was my DH for how many years? Caraballo, like they're Hall of Fame DHs, right? So
yeah, I was using Juan Velez there, and so I was getting about 150, 160 out of the position. So I've definitely run good ones.
Yeah, but like I tried to get 150 and up, but
yeah. But like I mean, like Pardita last year was 150, right? So if you were like, oh, okay, I'm going to play a better defensive catcher, I'm going to play Seca. And I'm going to use Partita as DH.
He was. I guess he was last year. Wow.
Oh, yeah, he had a big second half. He had a good first half, but a really good second half. Like, he only had 400 plate appearances. And he had 20 dingers.
Yeah, well, I'm surprised.
I was trying to get him out of there, actually. I thought that was going to be my big... I was going to get Beasley and Partita the same week.
There's no way he was going to trade Partita. No, like, if anything, he trades Reese. Like, you got to trade Reese.
He was... I was talking on Partita. That's all, like...
Okay.
I was trying to basically piss off my owner by clearing out the system instead of building it up, and couldn't seem to find anybody that was pitching good, so I was like, I'm just going to score 1 million runs. Mm-hmm. Didn't work out for me.
So what does that mean for playoff teams in the VL? Who do you guys have?
In the VL, I think I've got... I'm going to buy time as I pull up standings here to take a look. I've got Halifax, Isle of Man, Kiev, Peking, Beijing.
I'm hoping for Cape Breton over Beijing. I hope.
I just think that there's a significant... I think there's a gap there in the quality of the roster.
Yeah, maybe.
But like we'll see, right? Like, because like Beijing always has trouble putting up offense. So if they have one of those years where nobody can hit, then like that opens it up. Because like I think Cape Breton is probably close enough. Challenge them.
I believe it is a dice roll with the Virgin League for the second playoff place.
Yeah.
I will say Pyongyang.
Cape Breton. Oh, never mind. He retired a while ago. I was going to say Ryan Mish retired. So Kate Breton might be reeling from that, but it happened a while ago. I don't know how I missed that. 30 million closer.
Wow.
Good times. Is up there with the Ironmonger years.
Indeed, or the Jeff Mark years, which
Ends
the
this
decade
year.
of Jeff Mark continues. I wonder if Cohn is still around. Like the catcher? Oh my God, he's playing relief in A-ball. He's making 24 million. He's an A-ball relief pitcher for Motor City. I feel like that's spite.
The anger.
I think he's trying to get his arm to fall off.
That's what I'm trying to do with Neves right now.
I'm just looking at that, and there's no other reason why you'd do that, right? But
You're trying
hey,
to force him to retire. Just
Yeah. Sorry, you're taking the ball. You got a strict 170 pitch count. Can't go above 170.
Really trying to throw that arm off. Jesus. I'm impressed with that mythology. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh yeah. So let's start in that division then. Who do we got? Who do we got in the Leastern division? Who do we think? Expos lost 8 WAR this offseason. That's could be problematic for them, but they have a pretty good system, so probably filling those holes internally.
I'm pretty sure Eastern is a shit show of a division, and it could be literally any one of the 4 that wins, and it could be on the sheer fact the Expos choke. The Sloths are unlucky. The Zabbies do whatever the Zabbies do, and Motor City, they always come like 3rd or 4th, you know.
Yeah, I got a good feeling about the Zabbies this year.
So Zabbies are going to win on the pure fact that the Motor City Machine Guns are going to come 3rd or 4th. The Expos will choke, and the Sloths are unlucky.
I would note, Zabbies have this weird fixation with signing shitty Castlegar relievers. And one of these days, it's not going to work out for them. But I don't know if this is that era. Like, he signed Jose Aguion. Jose Aguion, who played for me, is such a shitty pitcher. I hate him so much. And it was just the thing. He was basically maintained a job on my team because he was a left-handed, and his ratings looked okay. And it was like, I need a lefty. I need at least one lefty in the pen. But the thing is that every time he'd go out there, he'd get lit up. And it was like any high leverage, lit up. Open a game, give up 4 runs. He didn't make it through the first opening for Mika Perry once. And it's just wild. But the thing is, he must have had those clean innings that I just didn't notice, because he pitched 94 innings, 2 years for me. And if you want to know why I didn't make the playoffs, it's probably that Jose Aguion pitched 94 innings a year for me. Liam Glennon is another guy that he signed out of my org. He just signed Hapola, who's had some injuries, which really hurt his upside, but he's a fan favorite. But he just has all these Castlegar relievers, and it's like watching Edmonton sign the Leafs defense. It's just like, what are you doing? Don't do that, man. Don't do that.
Yeah.
That's Cody Ceci. No, that's Tyson Berry. Why are you putting it on there?
Oh, it's so bad.
Oh yeah, I forgot I'm with 2 Leafs fans.
I love when I know exactly what the references are whenever they're these really deep cuts from Leafs teams from the past. I'm like, oh, I know exactly who you're talking about.
Ladislav Cohn, Lonnie Bahanas, some real iconic players. Speaking of which, bringing Kurosu back. He had a little run with Kyiv. He's getting paid so much for so long, but
this is one of the craziest contracts ever.
He's a really good player, but that's problematic. I think more problematic is that he's actually playing. Is he playing the field?
Yeah, he's played 7 games of left field. This Tim, so.
Oh my God. He's gonna die. He's gonna die.
Yeah, Rex player signed until he's 40, currently 33. Yeah. It's a little concerning.
I kind of like elements of this team though. Like I think Jose Vega is a really exciting pitcher in the organization. Finley Moran, I think is a nice little get there. Like picking late in the first, that's a coup to get a guy like that at 20. I just think I think he's got some reasonable arms. Like I don't think Dave Azell is worth the character issues or the salary at this point, but he's better than anybody I'm running in like 3, 4, 5. So like
when I look at Zabby's team, like I see a lot of good players, and then I just see how much they get paid, and I'm like, they're just getting way too much money, right? So then like you just run out of spots for players, right? Like you know what I mean?
Who are you looking at? Because I see that like, with Kursu,
Azell, even Villamil, Placenta. Like these guys are getting paid too much.
Well, I think Placencia was a God damn it. I think he was actually a salary dump from a Halifax trade.
Yeah,
like I don't think Kitchener signed that deal. That was just like
I'm not even saying that like he signed them. I think Azell is he traded for it. Yeah, I think it might have also been a dump, but it's like it's hard when when you see good players and you're like, oh, they have too much on their contract, so there's nothing you can do about it.
I will say, like Dave Azell is entering into option territory. You know, So I just mean you look at that and it's like if that's just the cost of getting like several years of good pitching, because like he's been there for 6 seasons now, and every year he's now on the downswing, but he was 3-4 WAR every year. I guess he re-signed him after the 43, so he did sign that contract.
Yeah,
but he's coming into the team options portion of that. So if you run this guy as your 4 or 5 starter for a season, and then he's gone at the end, you're saving $22.5 million.
But
that's all right.
Is ended in this. He's going into team options as well.
I mean, Zabby's got like I think 70+ million in team options next year that he can just get rid of. So, I mean, obviously, I don't know how much his buyouts are, so the buyouts might be a lot. But still, he can cut a lot of salary next year if he'd like to.
He cut a ton of salary. He brought Nye back, so he's got that fragile but glove cuck center fielder. Like I don't know, I kind of like this team a bit. I think that they are better than they might get credit for after last year. And when I'm looking at Montreal, I don't know that I can say with any confidence that team is better, perhaps. Than
I would
the
definitely. Montreal is still definitely better than Zabby's team, I think.
I don't know. Do we think Fernando Rico is going to hit again?
Well,
like Juan Navarro had a bad year last year. Like there's some guys. He's expecting like David Sandoval to take a step forward. Like I think Benito Canas is okay, but he had a rough year last year. He was an average hitter at first base. You know, I think Jesus Garcia, he spent some money bringing that guy in. He could be kind of like a Lewis Jenkins light, the way his attribute spread is. That could be a nice little get for him. So, like, there's a little bit of upside here. I
think Montreal's pitching staff, rotation, and bullpen combined are better than Zabby's. Like, it's really, really good.
Yeah, the bullpen is really, truly very good.
And I just feel like neither of their lineups are really that great. They're okay, but nothing great. So I just think Montreal's the better team. And then there's also Chicago, which I think Chicago's actually a pretty good team. But depends if Kang's playing shortstop all season again. But he's not. Like he's got Hampus Amdahl now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I will say that I think there's a reason that Amdahl got traded. I don't know if it's hit yet. I don't know that his defense is on the up and up.
Yeah, no.
I think his range has fallen off.
Mm-hmm. I think you could still play him at shortstop, but but
you're not getting plus out of that, right? Yeah, he's got a hit.
And he never has. I mean, he's done it twice. Twice in his career, he's out of how many seasons? 6 seasons. I'm just counting like roughly. I don't know if it's 5 or 6, but twice. So maybe the third of the time he's hit above 100 OPS plus. Like that's, if you're not a plus defender, that's not great.
Yeah. I do like some of these guys still, though. Like Ryan Frost is a hell of a hitter. Martin Palmsvik's good. Aratov's good.
Yeah, the whole thing is like he had like some of his lineup is so good, and then he was running these like guys who get like -3 WAR over the season. So like, yeah, Amdel's not a great he's not a great shortstop, but better than what was there before, like way better. So you know what I mean? So like I feel like when you shore up those massive holes, like that was the problem with Chicago. It's not that he had like no players, it's like just the holes in his team were not just minor holes, they were massive holes. And if
I don't know, I'm looking at some guys here too though, like is Gayassi going to be healthy? Like I know he was saying this because I said something about Yoon being the front runner for the Holland. And he's like, yeah, so well, Gayassi missed some time too. He missed one fucking start. He pitched the entire season. He missed one start.
31 starts. That's not really missing.
I voted for him for the Holland, but he didn't get it. I think I voted for him.
I think
65.
I guess he missed like maybe 2 or 3. It depends. Like sometimes you can get 34 starts out of your guys. But yeah.
Oh yeah, I voted for him for the Holland over Ricardo Flores.
He's
big R war cut here.
He's also got a really strong start to the season, and I think he's legit. So he just has to stay healthy. But that's not crazy. Like,
yeah, but I mean, like a lot of these guys don't play that good. Like you look at some of the attributes, like Juan Sierra's kind of has been not amazing for his career.
Yeah,
like we have 3 years where he's been.
Okay. So be careful though, because Sierra's is a ground ball pitcher, high movement. What do you usually need to have a really good ground ball pitcher?
Oh, I know the answer to this.
You need a shortstop. You need defense. What did the Chicago Flaws not have for how long?
Well, they were running these glove cuck guys. They were running like Young.
But they weren't actual glove cucks. They were just like, that's why they were like -3 WAR, because they weren't even glove cucks.
Well, so defense is what they were. They were alleged glove cucks, right? They were guys that had defensive-ish angles to them. Like,
and then he had what's his name at second,
Steven. Yeah.
Which is like if he's the only minus defender on your infield, it's okay, right? Because you can like compensate for that with like just having really good infielders around him, right? But like everyone was bad defensively, so yeah, that'll hurt. And so maybe Sierras will have a better year this year, maybe. And he's got it does fall off a little bit towards the back of the rotation.
Sevenen's pretty good. It falls off entirely. It's Gayassi and like a handful of guys that should be good.
It's Gayassi, Talvella. Yeah, honestly, none of these guys should even be pitching yet.
Well, I don't know. Talvella is 26. Like, but the thing is, he's never been really good. Like last year was his best ever season, and it's not that he pitched better. It's that the ball didn't fall. He had the lowest BABIP in the league. So like, I
don't know. That's hard to say.
Career 300 BABIP guy has a 250 and makes a breakthrough. Like, cool. I don't know if that's.
And the breakthrough wasn't crazy.
Yeah,
it was good.
He's made 2 All-Star teams. He's made 2 All-Star teams, despite only ever being 1 WAR.
So yeah, it's interesting. We'll see. I do think Chicago's a good team, though. I think they can compete with the Zabbies. Like to me, it's like Montreal, and then Chicago, Kitchener. I don't know which one goes first or second, rather. But then one of them goes there, and then the one after that.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. I think this division is very much like up in the air.
Oh,
like you know how there's a free wild card in the VL. This division is the free playoff spot.
I don't
like
think there's a huge gap between any of these teams. Like it's close, but yeah.
And I think I'm discounting the Expos a bit just because of Cursed. Like I don't know that I feel that they're going to put up 2 good years in a row, especially looking at that lineup.
Yeah, like
the rotation looks solid. The like Alex Goitia finally had like a bit of a breakthrough as an average pitcher. Some of these guys look pretty good. That he has such a lockdown bullpen all the time. But the lineup just looks so anemic to me. And then I look at the Zabbies and I'm like, he has a bunch of underperformers and like guys that are young with upside, or guys that are like Isaiah Vanderlaan he looks way better than what he's produced. He's like one of those Chicago pitchers where it's like he should one day maybe be better. So like I see a lot of upside in the Zabby's rotation that could be captured, and the lineup looks maybe it's better than Montreal's. Better than Montreal's, worse than Chicago's. But I think like the 1 through 5 of the rotation is probably stronger than Chicago's.
Yeah, I can see that.
So yeah, I don't know. Any of these 3 teams could win the division. I think it'll come up to who's luckiest. Uh-oh. But if Motor City was like leading the division at the All-Star break, I would just kind of look at that with an interested,
I wouldn't be surprised.
I'd be pretty shocked. This team has it's just one guy. It's like,
but one
pitcher, one hitter.
You have to remember, one team's very unlucky, one's cursed, and one just exists.
I think Danny Morrissey's okay. Like he's all right. June Yang has been a good player before. Again, he's all right. But yeah, the lineup looks pretty anemic.
Mm-hmm.
They need Bob Fuentes of a couple years ago. He was actually good last year, but like
they need a certain Beasley.
Yeah. But at least there's a catcher now.
Yeah, there's a catcher.
What's his name?
An all-star catcher.
Marta.
Santa Marta.
Former Gold Glove and 2-time All-Star Santa Marta.
Combined for 1.5 WAR last year. Almost.
That's an above average catcher.
Yeah.
88 OPS plus.
True.
I would note that like his 1.5 WAR was only in 90 starts because some cuck wasn't starting him. So yeah, I think probably the preseason favorite. I'm gonna go. I think for the Eastern Division, I'm gonna say the Zabbies win. I'm gonna say Zabbies, Montreal, Chicago, Motor City, and there's like a game and a half maybe tops between some of those.
Yeah.
If the winner of the division has 85 wins, I'll be surprised.
Only 85.
Yeah, I'd be surprised if they had 85 or more wins to win this division.
I reckon you need 82. I reckon 82 will be the point of no return.
Yep. Well, there you go. All right, let's move to the Central. Who do we like here?
Springfield, isn't it?
It's gotta be.
Yeah, Springfield had a big year. They lost some WAR this offseason, though. Like, maybe I'm not factoring in the trade. No, I am factoring in the trade. But like moving Wong out, Jim Holland probably was unlikely to recreate his magic last year, but like he was really good in Springfield. Had a bit of a resurgence and was a real effective hitter. Losing a couple pieces there might sting a little bit. Marcos Gutierrez, Murakami, Cervantes, like he lost a trifecta of arms as well. I don't think Murakami was good per se, but he was pretty all right for Springfield. Definitely in the back nine, but he had some arms go out. He brought some arms in. Roberto Martinez, who had a reasonable year for Kyiv. Alexander Slesser, who looks good, but hasn't really ever put it together. What do we think about him adding the Kornikova? Looks good, but doesn't play great.
I mean, he looks fucking terrible in Springfield, which is hilarious. He looks even worse, which is hard. Like, I feel like whenever you get guys from these bad, like when they're on bad teams and they're upset, because like Closer was like not in good morale for last season or maybe the season before he was, but last season he wasn't. I know that because I looked at him for a while. So those are like, you kind of pencil those in as like they're gonna get better when they go to a better team, and he looks fucking terrible. So I don't know what's going on with Slesser. I thought Springfield got better over the offseason, in all seriousness. Like, yes, his lineup kind of subtracted, but in a weird way it didn't, because like Looney Tunes is back to playing second base, which he should be playing second base, which is perfect. And then you can replace a lot of production in the outfield more easily, right? So he's got Rivera and Bullard, which they're kind of like Bullard looks fine. Rivera's a little bit slow to start the season. So I don't think his lineup. Maybe his lineup got a little bit worse, but not significantly. But his rotation looks so much better on paper, and holy shit, do they look bad when they actually play.
Well, it cuts both ways. So this team has always been built around the long ball, right? Part of that is because of the way their stadium is, where they're 1.1, I guess, factor. And you take guys like I would think like that's the thing with our friend Lesser, is that he was playing in a similar offensive environment, so you wouldn't think that would affect him coming over. But he hasn't acclimated early on, and that will be something they'll have to look out for, because like he wasn't good in Newfoundland. Like that's the thing that we're probably forgetting, is that like all those prospective trade offers were on a player that we looked at the attributes and said he looks pretty good. He's unhappy. Maybe that's bringing him down. But he's never actually had like a really strong season. Like I guess 2045 he had it, but then his arm fell off. Right? So like it's a bit of a buyer beware there with a guy that's missed a season, doesn't have the best personality, he's had some injury history. He has the good attributes, but like I think we found, especially coming to the 23 run environment, 3-pitch pitchers are a little more volatile, it seems. So that's something else to kind of keep an eye on with that player.
Mm-hmm. I think the rotation isn't as bad. Like Slessor's got like a 15 ERA, and then like Klassen has a 20 ERA. It's not gonna last. So I think he's still. I'd still say he's the top team in the division.
Yeah, I just think maybe the gap is close a little bit. Because I think for a few years here, he's been the top team by a wide margin. And I don't know that he's necessarily better than the top of the Pacific at this point.
Yeah, he was the World Series favorite last year to win, I think, for the start of the season. And
I would agree.
Say that this year. I don't think there is one this year. It's like a few teams that are contending, but there's not really like a clear number one.
I still think Rain City's good, man. I don't think that's necessarily my answer that they're a favorite, but I just mean like I think Rain City's good. Like I'm just looking at their rotation and whatnot. Like this is another good team. They've got 2 real studs at the top of the rotation. They've got some real drivers of offense. Zachary Dees is still one of the best players in the league. Paul Tofting's back from injury, and he's an effective hitter.
Guess who remembered how to hit?
I have no idea. Gutierrez.
Stop. He's hitting again, so.
Uh-oh, we could be in trouble. That's not good for me.
He's hitting again. So, yeah, I think this team will bounce back this year after not as great of a year last year. Although was he in the playoffs last year? No, he wasn't, right?
No, he made it. He had a one game. Right. Yeah, he had a 1-game play-in with Trav Dondo and won. Yeah.
Surprising, very surprising. But they might have a bounce-back season this year. Should make the wild card very interesting as usual.
I hate it.
Considering how many fucking teams in the Pacific. Like, it's actually crazy. Like, the Eastern Division versus the Pacific Division, and they're in the same fucking league. Like,
it pisses me off to no end.
But at the end of the day, well, it doesn't actually matter that much because, like, you play the Eastern Division a ton, right? Like, you play them.
Well, it sure as shit matters to my budget. It sure shit matters to my budget that I keep missing the playoffs with records better than anybody in that division.
Yeah, but if you were in the Eastern Division, no, last year you didn't have a better.
I did. I had 88 wins. That was 2 more than Montreal.
Montreal, did they only have 86?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes, I have 178 wins in 2 years and no playoffs.
Is that bad, huh? Holy shit! They got into the playoffs with 86 wins.
Right.
Well, the year before, Agile made it with 80. Like,
yeah, that was ridiculous.
I almost had as many wins as Motor City, who came second.
Almost as many wins. You had the exact same number of wins as the Chicago, which were third. So you would have been third instead of fourth in that easy division.
Although to be fair, Beijing made it in with 82 last season as well. So
Yeah, it's because there's 4 teams maybe trying in the VL. I shouldn't say trying because like
so
Bears
it's kind
trying.
of yeah.
But,
I guess your division is kind of just fucked, but we're not there yet.
Yeah.
We'll come back to it.
oh yeah, I guess we got more teams in the Central that are not super relevant.
Hannibal and Minneapolis. Yeah.
Minneapolis. What do we like here?
Honestly, not much. And I'm looking through their prospects this pool, and still not much. So like,
I like Jian Chang Lai. I think he's good. He's a ground baller. I like that guy. And Sia Sun.
There's some good guys, but like, there's just not. I don't think there's enough that you're gonna actually like
make a run.
Yeah, at least at this point, right? Like, it's not as like when you look at Pyongyang, for example, that's the best prospect pool in the league. But like, you see that like, it's scary because that's going to be a very good team very soon.
Yeah, but you're forgetting what he's going to get in trade from Agile for David Perez in 2 years.
Right. See, well, yeah. Yeah. Or Scott Coster. Like, that's who's going to move, right? Because this guy, like, Agile's going to take Scott Coster when he's over 30, and then, well, hopefully now that we're saying this, he won't, because, like...
It all depends if he decides to listen.
Nah, man, it's going to be David Perez because he's a captain. He's better defensively and has little appreciable skill with the bat. It's going to be David Perez.
Yeah.
As soon as he's breaking into actually making some money.
Yeah.
Like ARB years or something. Yeah. Anyways, yeah, I don't know. I don't mind David Perez actually as kind of a glove first guy at shortstop. Like, that's fine. Maybe Guan Kim, a young Guan Kim, will jump back a little bit there with some offensive contributions. I like Brian Manton. Brian Manton looks like an absolute stud. He's skipping AAA. That's how. Or did he make the team? Is it the? Am I speaking out my ass because I don't see the cuts yet?
Let me check. So
DJ O'Malley probably. I think DJ O'Malley's good too. Whatever I said about Brian Manton, DJ O'Malley pretty much.
Brian Manton is not on the team. He's manipulating service time.
Yep. DJ O'Malley's good too, though. Like, he had a really... Oh, that was a AAA. Never mind. I was going to he had a good year last year. Yeah, in AAA. I'm sure he'll be good, though. Ruben Juarez looks
DJ
like...
O'Malley. I don't see this DJ O'Malley guy.
Maybe he's on waivers.
He's all the way down there. Okay. Yeah, his ratings look a lot better than his stars, but yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Should be fine. Like, I like some, like, Nelson Ortega is a good bat too. Like, there's some pieces here that are fine. It's going to be third place. Ho hum.
Yeah.
We can move on. Hannibal.
Hannibal's got more relievers, which I didn't know that. So I'm sure he'll trade some of these. He's got Corey Duncan, 4-time World Series champion. Corey Duncan.
Yeah, he's going to bounce back with Hannibal.
Yeah.
No, he was awful for Kitchener last year. Like, minus 2 artwork.
Stats,
yeah.
I'm like, oh my god, it's terrible.
Yeah, but like, Donovan Selkin should be back soon, and he is he's a linchpin starter. Like, that's a really nice starter to have. He's fragile now, which sucks, but like, that was a big part of them struggling last year against everybody but Travis.
For sure.
I still don't think they've got any hitters.
I agree.
Oscar Lundgren looks like he should break through. And Antonio Brando is adequate. That's about it. That's all I got. Am I missing anybody?
Not much to talk about.
But he does have a player called Tupia Osiro Mankan Kobikiakua as his DH in spring training.
That was the most colonial fucking statement I've ever heard. Just to Tupiasiro Makanana Kehekwo.
This guy is not even on his.
He was DH in spring training, and that was the important part.
Yeah. I think he probably went back to the minors.
Yeah,
Bears he found a fun name to say.
I found a guy whose name looks somewhat like what you said, but that's
Tupio Osiro Makaneo Kiakwa.
Keakua. Makanao Keakua? Like, that's
Yeah.
not that hard to say. What the heck? Bear can't read in English. Hate to see it.
It's not an English name, so I can't read it.
Right, of course. You know,
It'd be
would
akin
like,
to saying something from Wales, I would imagine.
It's like Bear would be the guy who says Patrick Roy instead of Patrick Roy. Fucking Bear. Do you know who that is, Bear?
No.
Uh,
So I
got
probably
two
would pronounce
Stanley-
it that way because I wouldn't care.
2 Stanley Cup ring plug in his ear.
Yep. Avalanche, great. And not another team at all. Yeah. Hannibal probably 4th place. I think it's pretty safe to say.
Yeah, this is a bottom team for sure.
All right, so far we've got we've
best
got 2
division
divisions.
Is left for last.
There's one important thing about Hannibal, though, I'd like to say.
Okay.
What was that?
It's the last year of the Tony Martinez contract from Lone Wolf.
Bless up. Gonna make some free agency mistakes next year.
37.6 million into that bank account.
There we go. So last year, who won this division? LA.
Yeah, it was the
Yeah,
LA.
LA won this.
It was LA, and they went to the World Series.
LA
I hate everything about that statement.
Redondo, and then the Castle River Kings.
Yep. LA got better. They added Mitch Harris, Jim Holland, and the shitty catcher. Mitch Harris is kind of a big get. He's been really strong. He's been 4.5 WAR every year. He is starting to get on that path to expensive, which is probably why Travis moved him. I didn't think it was an amazing return. The second baseman looks pretty good, but yeah. Jim Holland wrecked, but an absolute slugger. So let's see what do you think about LA? They've added about 4 WAR to their already division leader.
I mean, I would assume. Well, it's hard to say actually. I think they're probably the top team. Maybe not. I don't know. This division is so hard. Like, I could put any of the teams anywhere, and I'm just gonna be wrong.
It's the opposite to the Eastern Division.
Like, no matter what I say, I'm just gonna be wrong.
Yeah, I think I thought this team was a little overrated last year, but like they've just taken that and gone a little bit further. So like Frank Bello having his second year. Some of the guys they're getting back from injury. Was it Willie No, it wasn't Willie Gonzalez that got hurt last year. Fernando Gonzalez. There you go. Yeah, Fernando Gonzalez is back. Yeah, Willie Gonzalez. Like
Fucking Pat Hernandez is on his team as a bench player. Wow, blast from the past. World Series champion in 2042. Peking
Who?
Duck. It's like an old bench player I had.
Pat
oh,
Hernandez,
nice.
who's on minimum contract.
He's ancient
Barely
now.
played. Yeah, he's old. 34 years old. This guy had drafted. Like, I remember drafting
Yeah.
him. Like I intentionally drafted him.
There you go. Audie Bossman is there, and he's been pretty good. Like just looking to take that next step forward. He was real strong from last year. You know, won the Rookie of the Year, rightfully so, and that's a big piece at first base. So like, I think that for the first time in a while, I feel confident saying I think the LA is probably above the rest of the division by a little bit. They may be the best team in the CL, but we'll see what happens. Because they have fragile guys at every position practically.
So
Like Casanova's durable, but I'm just looking in like shortstop, second base, third base, right field, all fragile.
I think
That's
he
the problem.
also had some players who had career years last year, and it's like hard to, like when you have like, guys putting up career years, the year after it's hard to like have the same results, right?
Oh, you could just say Ray Garvey instead of subtweeting him.
I mean, I'm not even just talking about him. I'm talking about like Casanova, who you just brought up, talking about his catcher, like fucking Fernando Tomas, or whatever, who like, yeah, he hasn't really played much, but like this guy's not a 1.1 WAR catcher. Like, I'm sorry, that's just, I think you can get away with having him as a catcher, but he's not a 1.1 WAR catcher, right? Even some of his pitch, yeah, Ray Garvey, like, I think he could do it again, but it's like hard to expect it. You know what I mean? Like this. Yeah. Like there is some guys who had great seasons, and they might not do it again. Like if you look through all his pitches were like 3 WAR and up. Like it's crazy.
Iwasaki won the Napolio last year because he's such a scrub, and he had 15 wins and 2 WAR. Like he was a pretty
I
So like
definitely
I definitely see it.
And I think when you look at the other teams in the division, when you look at, I don't know who we want to go with next. You can go with Castlegar. I think
Ugh.
the Castlegar lineup is like fucking insane. This is such a good lineup, right? They can just destroy. And I don't know what your pitching looks like, but
It was pretty rough last year. Like I think it was better, but the thing is now I've got back-to-back years in 23 where it hasn't been. So I think it's probably safe to say that this rotation would have been elite in 22, but is not in 23, not remotely.
I think the staff is pretty good. The pitching staff is okay. Wouldn't say it's bad. I think with an elite lineup and then a good pitching staff, like Castlegar is a scary team to play against. You look at, okay. The one thing I would say is I feel like there's no high-end reliever on the team. There's like lots of very good relievers, but no real like.
I don't know. Tai Hoi Tao has been pretty good for a long time now, but
I don't think, in all seriousness, if you go to like my bullpen, this guy would not make the top 3. Right?
He's. I think he's better than Corbett.
I don't know.
Like, I mean, just for based on my scouting, I've got Tao as a 65, 70, 45, right? With some extreme ground ball and whatnot. And I got Corbett as like a 70.
Yeah, but not
45,
everyone's
50, like,
stuff and movement control is equal, right? It depends on the pitches. Depends on other.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I just mean, like, I think Tao is better than Corbett, but worse than the other two.
Sure. Okay. Yeah, I guess. Anyway, but what I'm trying to say is there's like no super high end. That's the only thing I could point out for the bullpen. And then the rotation is like same kind of thing. There's like nothing super high end. It's just like good, but nothing super high end. Right?
I think coming to 23 hurt Nasi Waji, Maverick. I think it hurt him a lot. He lost a lot of stuff coming to 23, and he went from like every year of his career. So we have 5 data points of 4 to 5 WAR and like 3 to 4.5 R WAR, and then last year he was just like a 1. Like a 1.5. Like that was, if you want to point out where the Castlegar season went awry, a normal lock for 4 getting 1 is probably an element, and Yoon in the middle of a breakthrough, losing approximately 10 starts. That's the difference. So like yeah. I'd like Tony Rodriguez to take a step forward, but like we got 2 back-to-back years of 23 where he's been not amazing, more of like an innings muncher than a quality high tier arm.
I don't know if Maverick is a 23 thing. I think that's a like 29, 30-year-old pitcher, and it's like there's a lot of pitchers that do this where they just hit 29, 30 and they just fucking stop. Because 2046 was first year on like the 23 game. He had 4 WAR still.
Yep.
And then dies when he hits age 29, 30, right? Because he's about to be 31. So
I think some of that was that his home runs per 9 was unusually good in that season, and that coming back to go the other direction. Like I think some of that was home run luck in his first season. I think he would have been, if he wasn't lucky for the home runs in that first season, I think he would have been but well below what he was achieving with the Trav Dondos, but probably not as bad as he was last year with getting allowing a lot more balls to fall and giving up more home runs. The killer combination, right? And we're a few years now where his control has been kind of going the wrong direction. So, and his Ks per 9 going in the wrong direction. So like, some of it could be aging curve. I think 23 hurt him a little bit. Like
that's probably,
he came from that org as one of the best pitchers in the CL, and I don't know that he's there anymore.
That's fair. But I think if Castlegar finds a way to get some reinforcements in the staff, at least closer or ace, this team is crazy.
What do you think is Bart Judge as a high leverage relief pitcher?
Considering how many, he's pitched actually a decent amount. Yeah, you could probably use him. I think he wouldn't be too different than what you have in your other guys, though. Already.
Yeah. I just mean with that high-end stuff, right?
Yeah, I think he would be pretty similar to what you have in your other guys.
But left-handed.
Especially because he has 4 pitches. With the 4 pitches, he could be very, very good. Makes me think of when I put Nick Whitley as a closer, and he like looked okay as a closer, like, but he was fucking elite as a closer just because he had so many pitches. Right? And that actually like works really, really well for closers.
That's been where Jamie Zavala has been, but the injury last year just tanked him. He's aged hard now, and he didn't make the roster.
Yeah, he
sad.
Doesn't look so good.
Yeah, well, there's a big difference between having 75 stuff and having 55 stuff.
You don't say.
But yeah, he went from being like a like elite to losing some of his stuff from that injury, and yeah, unfortunate. It's the greatest scouting discovery in franchise history.
That's not an amazing scouting discovery, unfortunately.
Well, if you look at his history, like I mean, like he's been a pretty elite reliever a few times, like 2.5.
Yeah. No, I just like I think
if that's the best ever compared to some people that are pulling aces or pulling like high end like lineup
I've
players.
never had like crazy good scouting discoveries, but I've had a lot of good ones that are better than Zavala. Although they've gotten traded too, so like I don't even like Bueno was one of them. Danny Bueno, that guy was great. Retired now, 51 WAR. Great scouting discovery. Didn't get
I like Danny Bueno. He's like an off-brand Victor Torres.
Yeah. Let's look at another team.
Let's, because like the Castlegar thing's depressing me.
Yeah.
I think just looking at how the game is projected, Castlegar is going to hit, and it's going to be questionable whether they're going to field and not allow runs. Moving along, Kirkland, shall we?
Let's take a look.
They've got a pretty good center fielder now. Eng Hee-shu. I like Eng Hee-shu.
Yeah.
If he can hit it all, he'll be really nice there. Danny Ramirez is a real good bat. Imanen, I've seen this guy. Like every team seems to have these guys. I don't know that they always hit like this, but he's been a really good hitter to date, and that's a nice find for him.
I do not understand Song Hyun Kim. Like this guy, it's just like he's confused me for so long. He was so bad for so long. Like he played like 800 games or something of like less than 100 OPS plus average, right? And then the last 4 seasons in Kirkland, he's just become like blossomed into this elite third baseman. Age 30, he decides to be an elite third baseman. And then even with his ratings going down a little bit in the offseason, might just be my scouting. Like, I don't know, maybe scouting isn't great on him. He's still,
his power dropped a bit.
He's still amazing.
He's garnered
He's still
more
really,
WAR
really
in his 3.5 years at Kirkland than he has in his entire career at everywhere else.
This is a guy that's had a good but not amazing major league career, and he found another level in his early 30s with Kirkland, and I'm sure the fall will happen as well. But like for the amount of liability of that contract, I don't know, man. That's a pretty nice like this year and next, pretty much.
Yeah,
that's all the liability for him.
Very, very good. I don't know. I don't
It's
think
tidy business.
And then we got Breen, who's like an enigma.
Murakami has kind of emerged as well as one of the best at his position. Like,
yeah.
I don't know why or how, but here we are.
It's a lot of really good players. I mean, he's paying them a lot of money, but no.
Murakami making 27 is, yeah. He's being paid for being the best out of like 12 kind of shitty options in the CL. The CL doesn't have really high-end catchers.
Yeah, it's tough. I feel like I don't know. I could never sign a contract like this for a catcher. Like no matter who the catcher is. Maybe the only one is like Luis Arias. Like that's the only guy you could sign to a contract like this. It's just like yeah, you're getting more from this catcher than other catchers, but I feel like you can spend so little on a catcher and still get like replacement level catching, and the difference between that and Murakami is like not the same as if you were to get any other batter for that price. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess. Like I'm just
But
looking
it
at
also
Murakami, and
it depends on what's available, right?
he's better than my guy. Like he's better than Alex Evelyn, but it's not that much, I guess, is the argument you're making, right?
Yeah, like it's not enough to warrant the amount of extra money, right? Like 27 mil in the term, like that's. I don't. I'm also a guy who never pays catchers. Like I've never paid a catcher more than I think like 14 million. Like that's the most I've ever given a catcher. We'll not go over that. And those
I
are
don't
like
remember what I paid Danny Cortina, but whatever it was probably the most I ever paid a catcher.
Like I'm not giving out Jeff Mark contracts. Like it's just never gonna happen. And
I just think there's so much volatility at the position, right? Like somebody always steps up to be like, "Oh, I didn't know that guy was any good," and last year LA had that guy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like I'll give contracts to Jaylee Wong or like, Pavlov, Pivnyuk, and I don't mind paying these guys like 40 mil, but I don't know. I just feel like that the high end catcher, the difference between a high end catcher and like a good catcher is so much different than like a high end infielder or outfielder and a good infielder or a good outfielder. I might be wrong. I could very well be wrong. That's just.
I just don't know that we have any super high end catchers. Like last year in the CL, it was like you had LA's guy was the best defender. Murakami was the best hitting catcher at a 107 OPS plus. I think Alex Evelyn was like second in that metric. Like there just weren't a lot of high performing catchers in the CL.
Yeah.
So I don't know that there's a lot of them overall. Like you'd have to think that the Beijing player,
Quali,
Baker,
the best one.
He's probably the best hitting catcher. And then like Kiev has a pretty high end catcher. Like looking at Dye's pretty high end. Like the high end glove plus 90 OPS plus kind of bat, like a moderately below average.
Still not crazy, right? Like it's not like what was Luis Arias was much better than this, right? I think.
Mm-hmm. So were a few guys. Baker, Danny Cortina. There's been a few guys that were substantially higher end. The Woodcocks have a good catcher.
Mm-hmm.
Julong Hor.
Yeah, he's good.
He broke through last year. He had a strong season, but like all the catchers are in the VL essentially.
We'll see how much he's able to repeat considering his. Well, he's young, 26. Could do it again. Yeah.
Oh yeah. So I think Kirkland actually though made some underrated moves. Like I think getting Fernando Creponi, he made a huge difference in his life going to the GAR. He was really strong. Pitched like a strong 2-3 kind of down the stretch. But he's got the stuff. He's got the 4-pitch mix. Like I wish he hadn't signed in division, frankly. And like if you look, the liability on that contract is super minimal. Like 18.2 by 2 effectively with the 2 team options. That's some smart business.
This guy. Why didn't I? I mean, I know.
I tried to sign him, but I didn't have any money. I wasn't allowed to until after I declined the contract, the team options. And then at that point, his contract demands had gone from when I acquired him, he wanted 4 by 4, and I was like, I would do this, but I don't have the budget. And then he kept pitching good, and he climbed until he wanted like 20.
Should have asked for a sign and trade when he got him. Like, yeah, just sign him to an extension and.
Trade. Oh, he wouldn't sign with Cameron.
He wouldn't.
Yeah, he wouldn't even listen. That's why he traded him. But like I think Luis Martes hasn't broken through yet, but that's a move in the right direction. Like Kirkland kind of raising the floor a bit in the rotation. Mario Flores is adequate back the rotation kind of guy, innings eater. He always tends to squeeze more into these rotations with that strong bullpen than really has any right to. Feels pretty awesome watching Victor Armendariz be as good as he has in the Kirkland organization after. Yeah. That's actually another one of my scouting discoveries.
Oh.
I cut him after an injury, and then he went. He signed in Kirkland and has been elite since.
Oh my God. And he's wrecked, and he still pitches a lot every year.
Oh, he pitches so much.
70+ innings.
Oh yeah, it's wild. He did not look like this when he left my organization. I can tell you.
Sure.
He was a 2.5. He was like a 2.5er.
Right, of course.
I think he gained some velo going to the Kirkland work.
Nice.
That's what you love to see, is a guy in his late 20s just adding some velocity.
Of course, yeah. Exactly what you want to see.
Yeah. He gained velo at age 26, 27. Nice.
Excellent.
I'm not bitter.
Doesn't
Not like I
sound
need a
like
lefty
it
in
at
the
all.
pen. Not like I need a lefty in the pen. But no, like I think the Kirkland team is pretty good. They've got some guys that can play defense at the key spots. I don't know that there's a lot like if Grumpy can continue to hit and be a reasonable second baseman, like that's all right. I don't see a lot of opportunities to pitch. Like there's not a lot of guys you can pitch around. Like if Leon Breen and your center fielder that's leading off are like the worst players in your lineup, then you got a pretty good lineup.
So where do you put this team in the division? Where do you think?
Oh fuck, 1 through somewhere either first or fourth, somewhere in between.
Yeah.
That's the thing, right? Is that like this division's so tight that it literally comes down to who loses critical players for 4 weeks here or there, or who loses a guy for the year. Like that will be a significant. Like that's how it came down last year, right? Like, looking at Travis, like the Trav Dondo team, like they've made some moves. I don't know. They seem like again they've got some good pitching. Juan Velez is their best hitter by a lot, but that would be the case for a lot of teams. Brought back TJ Wasserman, who's ancient at this point.
Wow. Wasserman. Guy's not good.
Oh, did he fall off?
Yeah, he definitely did.
Well,
I mean,
Hirota's still there.
he's 40 years old now.
Hirota's still there. If he plays a full season, like he's another nice, good bat. Ben Harness playing there again. Getting paid $27 million for 35 and 36 seasons. That's a lot. But like, yeah, I don't know. I was listening to podcasts last year, and I thought this team was definitely worse than mine. But I felt that way for a few years, and who knows? Who's to say? Like they have a few of the high end bats that could really drive results. I think there's a lot of kind of spots where they need to get some production and may not. Like I imagine there's probably a manipulation sim in regards to some of those spots. But like Brent Kohut, when he makes it, should be really good. But like yeah, I don't love second base as a spot there. I don't love shortstop. He's running like a pure glove guy at shortstop, which is whatever, I guess, until he dies, like Josh Randall. He's got some other guys, like even on the bench, like Cesar Pinate's there, Victor Castaneda.
Running Josh Randall? Holy Peking Duck legend.
Bears legend.
Yeah. Minneapolis legend.
Wow, he played for Mini. Wow, I didn't even know that.
He had a really good run with Minnie, actually.
He had a good season with Bear, too. Holy shit.
Absolute legend.
Oh, that's cool. That's real cool.
Yeah, but this team has holes. A lot of teams often do. I don't like their catchers. Like, maybe I'm just a big catcher guy, but like I don't like their catchers. Mark Watkins, like boot, seems like a guy who should be better. He hasn't put it together yet, but there's at least some upside there. Like there's some upside in this lineup. Like right. Cesar Pinate can still hit maybe a bit. Victor Castaneda, like he's on a minor league contract. That's if he bounces back to some woodcuckery, that'd be a nice guy to be able to drop in the lineup at DH or outfield, like left field, I should say. But like I guess Juan Velez is pretty entrenched DH. I don't know. If I were to rank these teams, LA 1, Kirkland 2, Castlegar 3, Redondo 4. All within the game of each other.
I think I got Redondo, LA, Castlegar, Kirkland. But like it doesn't mean anything. It's literally, it doesn't matter. Just top points.
Yeah.
You know.
Is this predictable as the Eastern Division?
I think it's
in a very
less
different
predictable.
way.
No, I think it's actually less.
Yeah, I definitely think it's less predictable.
When the teams are this good, like they'll just take games off each other, like, and it's just so much more erratic. When teams are bad, you can kind of like see, oh, well, like this one has like a little bit extra, so they should win more.
I had a losing record versus Kirkland, and I had a losing record versus all three of these teams last year. So if we want to know like why I missed the dance, I think I lost 3 games by 1 run to Travis, which was rough in a series. And then I think we didn't even split the rest. Like I think he still had an advantage there. Kirkland, I think, had an advantage by a couple games, and LA, like again, took my lunch. So it was just like some untimely injuries, some bad play interdivisionally, and that was all it took to be out of the playoffs with 88 wins.
Sometimes that's all it takes.
Well, the year before, I think I was first place going into the last month, or the last 2 weeks even, and then I went 0 for 7 and found myself in 3rd or 4th place. One bad sim, whole season.
Try that every week of a season.
Yeah. So like, a lot of things could happen here, but like, I think Zabbies. I like the Zabbies for that Eastern Division a bit. I think Montreal is probably the smart money, but like, I got some stupid money on the Zabbies, and Rain City and Springfield are pretty good. I think it'll come down to a battle between Rain City and 2 or 3 of the Pacific.
Seems reasonable. Bear?
Sloths. Rain City, Springfield. LA, Kirkland.
Let's go with Sloths. You know, I'm gonna go Montreal, Springfield, and then we're gonna get 3 teams from Pacific. Let's go LA, Castle Redondo. That's gonna happen. In no particular order.
Russ is too much of a tactician for me to rule him out.
Yeah, that's an element. Like, he's gonna have a lot of guys that are playing goofy.
Well,
like
I'm just
goofy
picking him to
miss.
miss because he made it last year, so that's just how it goes sometimes, you know?
I don't want to curse
Sometimes-
the Expos.
He's made it, 5 years in a row?
He's got to give one at one point.
Exactly, you got it.
I had to replace my Silver Slugger first baseman already. That feels good. It's out 5 weeks with a shattered finger.
Could be worse, mate. Could be 7 months.
Yeah, it could be. He's got, I got that last year with Yoon, right? Dude was on, he had 4 WAR and 4.6 R WAR through
At least you
20
had him
starts.
for half a season.
Yeah, that's fair. It though it did kill his upside. Like, he dropped, as a result of that injury, he lost 5 off his curveball and 5 off his changeup, and that dropped him 20 stuff.
Nice. That's a killer.
Well, we'll see what happens. He's back in a couple weeks, so we'll see if he can come back and be like an adequate number 3. But yeah,
It is what it
I
is.
just recalled Thomas Hernandez, so like we'll see if a former first round pick can find some purchase, and I was hoping to stretch that out until the manipulation sim, but he's here now. Needed him with Gomez out. We'll see how this goes.
Is this where I can say I'm unlucky and cry about it for the rest of the season?
Sure.
Yes, do it. It works for others.
Yeah. No way anyone can, make fun of you or say anything about it.
True.
There's no reactions we can post.
Hey, Oliver.
Mm-hmm.
That Evaristo Marinelli, he actually cost me a playoff spot last year. Seriously, look at his numbers. What happened is that when I made the Beasley trade, it didn't go, like, it went through at the beginning of the sim. So Marinelli was my starting center fielder for a week, and he compiled minus 1.6 WAR in, like, I think it was 1.1 WAR in that 1 week. He was minus 1.1, and that is basically the difference between playoffs and not.
There it is. He's a stud.
That was a big one. And the other one was the sim where Quinn got hurt the first game, and they played Leandro at shortstop for the rest. And he piled up he was like minus 7 zone rating in a week.
Nice.
Whenever you have a chance to play a 50 range guy at shortstop, you definitely should.
Yeah, no thanks. I've never tried that. Never will. That sounds terrible.
It was pretty terrible.
Can imagine.
Say la vie, though. Like we're moving forward, onwards and upwards, and we'll see what happens this season. We have a couple predictions that probably are way off when rubber meets road later on. But yeah, now I'm just poring over the waiver wire. There's 1.6 billion waiver guys, eh?
A lot of them are bloody glove cucks.
Yeah, you can always find those guys.
I wonder why. Because there's just a fucking million of them. There's like, oh my god, don't.
They're super interchangeable.
When glove cucks get paid, I never understand it. It's so confusing to me. Or like when they get traded for, like.
Oh, good returns and stuff. Yeah.
Like I got like 1 million glove cucks in my minors. Like it's. I actually don't think I do anymore, but I used to. They're
The good old days.
easy to find.
They're certainly not difficult to find.
Well, I found that they were easy to draft a lot of the time. Like you can draft them like 3rd, 4th, 5th round very easily. I just haven't had a draft pick in between the 1st and the 5th round in like I don't know how many, like 5 seasons, 6 seasons. I just threw all my picks away.
I wish there was a good left-handed reliever on waivers.
It's like hint.
Well, no, I just that's an honest to God. I wish there was a good left-handed reliever on waivers because, like, I'm just looking at mine and I don't love the guy that I'm running as a lefty in my. What's his name? He's some Finnish guy. Vaino Haivanen. He was like an int free agent signing, like way back, like 34. And he's just been like this guy that I've been using because he has options every year. And he always pitches okay, but nothing to really put a hammerlock on the position, you know?
Right.
Mm.
Yeah, like last year he had a 2.89 ERA. He was a 149 ERA plus. Like he only played in 12 games, but like he pitched better than Aguilar. So he's here because on the merit of he throws left-handed. Just for whatever reason, I haven't been able to find many lefties.
Nice.
That Nunzio Pescolito has not taken that step forward. In fact, like his upside for stuff, like he can't. That's the problem. Is that the guy's literally a lefty specialist. Like he can only pitch to lefties, so like I can't use them. Not going to be a good reliever for me.
I have a couple of lefties now. It's an improvement.
Nice. I think at some point this year, when guys are shitty, I'll have some guys in AAA I'll call up to fill some roles in the bullpen. I think Pudge Kronberg is ready to make an impact with a fastball slitter combo. I think Justin Brophy is another guy that with a fastball knuckle curve. So there's some guys that I'm hoping I can use when, of course, injuries strike or whoever is shitty. My pick's Ji-Hoo Kim. Ji-Hoo Kim is going to be shit again.
I'm so scared of injuries. My team cannot handle like serious injuries this year. It's because I don't know if we didn't really talk about it, but like I got Bonacorsi eating up fucking so much money, and he's playing AAA. I might be in AA now. He's so bad. Oh god, eating up a lot of money. 26.5 million to play AAA.
Pretty slick.
Another season after this too. Maybe he'll retire. I might get out of it.
Fingers crossed.
I find when you put them in AAA, they're more likely to retire because they don't want to play AAA.
I've been trying that for 2 seasons. It doesn't work.
Okay.
Well, that's because you're paying them so much.
I didn't pay him. Thank you.
Somebody paid them.
It's also on the player option when they have to make a choice on the player option. That's how I lost 2 guys that way. Like they turned down the player option to retire when they were in AAA. Aguilar and the catcher I had, Guzman. But he also had a really cheap deal. It was just long term.
Anybody see that Bing Dalu from Pyongyang? He waived him. He's a 2-way player, hey? It's a left fielder / a relief pitcher. That's a fun player, hey?
Except this guy looks like he's shit, doesn't he?
Oh yeah, he's shit, but I just mean like he's fun.
I like that Oscar Ramirez is a two-way player.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
There's no good two-way players.
Yeah, he's not great two-way, but he can pitch. If I'm dying.
Why does Halfcast just sign all of my old like bench or minor league players? I see like so many guys that get signed by him. I'm like, these guys suck. I mean, they're minor league deals, but still. How about those preseason predictions? Thoughts on Pyongyang being the top division or top team in the division on the?
I don't think it's wrong, Smile.
Oh, of course.
Peking predicted to be third. Sounds about right.
Right. Of course.
What's up now?
Finally, the downfall.
The preseason predictions. The fact that Pyongyang got predicted to be first in the division.
Well, there you go. Decade of Pyongyang.
Yeah, that's true.
Year of the Pyongyang.
He's got first in the division with the same projected record that I have. Where they think I'm going to be third in the division as well. That's lovely. Yeah, they're predicting the Eastern to be tight. 78 wins for the division crown and 75 for third place. So 3 wins difference there between Montreal, Chicago, Kitchener. I think that's pretty much in line with what we're saying.
Yeah.
I think there's a bit more of a gap it's projecting between LA, Kirkland, Calscar, Redondo.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah. I think what we can all unite around is the fact that it says that Hanimal's going to have a tough year.
Oh, true. Very true.
Less than 60 wins.
It's not the objective, though, right? They're just moving forward. Onwards and upwards.
But they already have 3 wins, so they're 55 games to go.
Oh, shit. I keep forgetting that there's an actual stuff going on. But, yeah. I think we've kind of got an approximate prediction going on here. We think that Sunnyvale's probably not going to stay in first in that division. Pyongyang probably not going to stay first in that division. Who knows what's going to happen in the Eastern or Pacific, and we'll see some standing shifts in the CL at Central at some point. But with that being said, like I think it's our podcast at like 2 hours and 78 minutes or whatever.
2 hours and 11 minutes.
I know. I was making a kind of a math fallacy thing just to.
Oh. Fuck.
Yeah, I know. Too big brain for that. But anyways, Godspeed. May you make the playoffs. As it doesn't affect me whatsoever what happens in the VL. And thanks for joining us, Oliver.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
I'd love to join again next time or in the future again. You guys, if it works out, you know what I mean?
You're going to keep up with the hot 3-ways. Okay. Yeah, I could be amenable.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just scheduling. It's what matters most.
Yeah. My agent will talk to you. Your agent. We'll see what we can.
Yeah. No, I clearly don't have an agent, so it'll just be me.
Spectacular.
I am the agent.
We're just getting promotions. Well, Godspeed, gentlemen. I'm going to go continue.
Dinner time.
Yeah.
Wait for the next sim. All right. Thanks for having me, guys.
This has been the RFBL Report with Bear and Batdowski. To find out more about the RFBL, including stats and history, you can go to statsplus.net/RFBL. To find more episodes of the RFBL Report, you can go to Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud, Buzzsprout, and YouTube.